Okay, Sunday, 10th of March, 2024. So, very nice. Just had a nice little adventure in the Wrekin. Good walk. Pitch black, pitch darkness. Great fun. What a way to be a little more daring and tenacious than walking in nature in pitch darkness. So, getting what's possible and what's likely mixed up. So this is a little interesting thing I picked up in finance a couple of years ago, I guess now, with risk management, knowing what's possible and knowing what is likely and how possible different things are. Because a lot of things are possible. You know, tigers exist in the world, so it's possible to see a tiger right now. You know, in the next 5 minutes, it's possible. It's within the realms of possibility. But how likely is it? Not really likely at all. You see what I mean? So, you know, it's a Sunday morning, so it's very possible and very likely that it'll be dark, you know, at 4 a.m. Yeah. And it's raining, and it's likely that it'll continue to rain, so it's a good idea to bring an umbrella. Things like that. What's possible and what's likely. So we want to be careful about these different things in life, not to get these two mixed up. Because a little story. Back in October 2021, I went to climb Scafell Pike, tallest mountain in England, in the Lake District. Long story short, it was easy. The whole mountain, a bit rocky, whatever. But afterwards, I was told, someone I know said, "Oh, you could have been killed. You could have been killed." Now, I was thinking, it's possible, yeah, you know, life, and, you know, I was there by myself for 2 hours, and there was no one there, and, you know, I could have slipped again. It's possible to have slipped. You know, it's possible. So, yeah, understandable. But then the reason given for, you know, the method of death, so to speak, was, oh, you could have been killed by a sniper. Someone could have shot you. A crazy man could have been shooting tourists. And I'm thinking, how likely is that? It's possible. Crazy people exist. Guns exist, by all means. But how possible is that? Not really. Like, you know, infinitesimally small. Let's say, you know, 1 in a million. For different reasons. Okay. So, what does that tell you? It shows that if you get what's likely and what's possible mixed up, it can have a detrimental impact on your life. In this case, it was fear. Fear of something, in this case a shooter, shooting you, but not understanding that was infinitesimally unlikely. Now, death by other means, slipping and not seeing anyone, yeah, you know, for an hour or two is very, very possible. Possible, but how likely is that? Well, you take precautions. You know, you plan ahead, you wear the right boots, things like that, you know, whatever else, you take precautions. So in the unlikely event, notice the word unlikely event, of X happening, you've got means to protect yourself. But you don't want to get these two things mixed up, because this person who said, oh, you could have been shot, you know, who knows what other fallacies, let's say, other mismatches they're making in their life, as in what's possible and what's likely. So that detrimental effect, it's akin to saying, let's not drive today because all the traffic lights might go red. There might be one red light, so don't do it. Oh no, it's risky. How likely is that? Well, not really. Not potential. It's possible. Get red lights here and there, but how likely? Not very likely. So I climbed the mountain. No route issues in the end. Great fun, great time. A little challenging, bit risky with rocks here and there. No great issues, no great worries, no problems in the end. Good stuff. Had a great time. No regrets. That's the important thing. No regrets. But any problems with shooters? Nope. Any problems with slipping? Nope. Did I get lost? Well, for like 5 minutes, but that was nothing. Things like that. So we want to be conscious of what's possible and what's likely in life. Now this is what's called, I think, something like Bayesian mathematics, something like that, which talks about what's likely and what's possible. Because we can expand this logic and raise the stakes to say, in finance, and talk about the concept called black swan events. A black swan event, meaning how likely something's to happen. You know, very likely, unlikely, all the kind of spectrum there, and how impactful is it? So, you know, for example, slipping in the mud it's likely, but how impactful is it? It's not very impactful. Or like say a pandemic is not very, very likely, once 100 years, so to speak. But when it does happen, it has a major impact. Black swan event. This is a bit of a common concept in probability and finance with regards to risk management. So we want to be conscious of these black swan events, what's likely, what's possible, and how to mitigate the risk, how to keep the damage to a minimum, basically. How can we avoid having problems with X or Y or Z if it does happen? So, for example, if I get lost in the mountains, what can I do? Well, I got a GPS here, retrace the steps, follow these big boulders, whatever else. If you slip, what can we do? Well, you can prevent it by having proper boots, proper things like that, whatever else, things like that. So we want to be conscious of these black swan events. What's likely and what's probable in life, or in the mountains, or in finance, or in general, in business, you name it. All these different places and scenarios that this thing is possible. It's possible. This could happen, but how likely is it? Not really. Again, like with the tiger. Tigers exist, but what's the possibility? What's the likelihood of there being a tiger right here in England? Well, infinitesimally small. They're going to be in the zoos. They're going to be in the zoos, if anywhere. So things like that. It's recognizing what's possible and what's likely. Very important. Otherwise, we get a warped sense of reality. We get a warped sense of what could or couldn't happen, and that affects our decision making. It's akin to analysis paralysis, where we're thinking too much, too hard about something, and therefore we take no action. Because I went for a walk in the Wrekin just now. I wanted to be there before sunrise, and that's 6:30 in the morning. I was there for 5:30, and to be expected, it was pitch black. And I was thinking, right, what are the odds, let's say, there being, muggers or thieves hiding in the trees? Okay, it's possible, by all means, it's possible, but how likely is it? I'm thinking not particularly, because I don't imagine there'll be that many people there at 2, 3, 4 a.m. or 5 a.m, 6 a.m, just in general. So if there is a thief there, he's going to be waiting by himself for hours and hours, and he might see one person at midnight. Ooh. And I'm thinking, okay, but is that worth the guy's time? Possibly not, especially if it's raining. Does he really want to, he could just wait in the corner in an estate, in some house, a residential area, and jump up and come across anyone at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, probably drunk, let's face it, on a Saturday night. But in nature, not really. Ironically, it's going to be possibility, the likelihood it's going to be quite peaceful and quite quiet. Yeah, it makes sense. And when I was there, no issues whatsoever. 2 cyclists and 2 walkers. One of them was a dog walker. No issues, and that's on a Sunday morning. So imagine 6 hours earlier at midnight, maybe one person. But then again, from a thief's point of view, is that worth the risk? No. Is that worth the effort? Is that worth it? No. The chances are no. Of course, dynamics and situations, different places and settings, whatever, but chances are no. So then I was thinking, right, well, then it's just a fear manifesting a fake reality. And fear is a false expectations appearing real. Yeah, false expectations appearing real, FEAR. So I'm thinking, right, it's possible. Okay, but is it likely? Not really. And here's the kicker. Doing that logical analysis, and then came to the conclusion where it's worth the risk. I'm going to do it. I did it, and I'm glad. Came back home, no issues whatsoever. Great fun. I slipped. That was basically it. No issues there as well. Just good boots and wash the trousers. No issues there. Great. Done. So you can't let a misunderstanding, a mismatch of what's possible and what's likely affecting your decision making. The thieves in the woods is possible by all means. How likely is it? Not really. And in the end, any problems? No. So therefore, any regrets? No. Perfect. Would I do it again? Yes. Perfect, great fun. Absolute great fun, because it's nice to do some exercise on the weekend. Normally I go running, but I thought this time let's do something a little more adventurous, and something more, that'll prepare me more for the mountains. So yes. Also, we learned an interesting lesson about the choice of socks. Got to wear black socks, shades of black, because it helps to handle the mud better than white socks. Just you don't want to stain them, basically. But that's a conversation for another time, I guess. So otherwise, don't get what's possible and what's likely mixed up, and let that mismatch give you too much fear and hold you back in life. Hold you back. You know, false expectations appearing real. FEAR. Yeah. So otherwise, you will see me tomorrow.